Pathway to Prosperity. Okay, so he's introduced me, so well, thank you. I want to read something to you first, which I think is really important. It's about the American dream. It is the belief that anyone, regardless of their standing, regardless of who they were born to, regardless what class they were in, they can attain your version of success in a society in which upwardly mobile is a possibility. American dream. So when we talk about the American dream, most of us, about 78% of us, think the American dream has to do with home ownership. We do. So, and actually, a lot of us believe that. It doesn't necessarily, sorry, John's moving that because I'm supposed to be standing next to it. And I know.
John Craig.
Yeah. So,
Let's keep doing a round of applause. You're going to get applause when she starts.
So I've already failed what I'm supposed to do early on, so don't expect much, okay? So, all right. So today I want to talk about pathways to prosperity. I want to talk about assets, how real estate is absolutely an asset. And I want to talk to you, and excuse the cards, but it's got numbers on it, and I want to give you the accurate numbers. I want to talk about real estate in all of its forms. And I want to talk about your Pittsburgh Young Professionals, right? So as young professionals, why real estate is so important to you. Why real estate is where you should be thinking about right now. I think this is a very interesting statistic. But first I'm going to tell you, before the statistic, I love to talk about Warren Buffett. You guys know who Warren Buffett is, right? So in 1958, he bought his first house. His first house was $31,000. I mean, think about it. So in dollars now, that first house at $31,000 would be about $329,000. Okay? Bought that house. Now, it's actually worth $1.2 million right now. So he hasn't sold it. He believes in it. And what he believes in is, I found this interesting, it's the third best asset, he said, he's ever had. Third best thing he's ever did. I'm thinking, well, if that's the third best, what are 1 and 2? What are the first 2 things that Warren Buffett thinks if he thinks his house is the third best investment he ever made? 1 and 2 are his wedding rings. His wife and his wedding ring, so it's the third best. So that ranks pretty high. And the reason I was looking up Warren Buffett is I love this quote by him. He says, the market is filled with individuals that know the price of everything and the value of nothing. So how many of you spend your time on Zillow? How many of you spend a lot of time on Zillow? It's okay. It's okay. It's like a habit. Yeah. And I did a video recently, and I got a little feedback from the people who follow me because I called it real estate porn. Because, like it's an addiction. You keep going back and looking at the houses. I know this because when I list a house, I'll tell someone, go on to Zillow. Your house is on the market now. See how many hits you're getting. See how many saves you're getting. And they go, what does that mean? What do the hits and saves mean? I said, well, the hits mean that they're looking at your house. The saves mean they think it's too expensive, or they want to show their friends your living room. There's a lot of reasons for the hits and the saves. But Zillow it's real estate porn, and we all do it. Why do we do it? Why are we looking at Zillow? We dream. That's right, we dream. So I want to talk, before we get deep into the real estate, I want to talk about wealth. Net worth. Any ideas on net worth? Like, do any of you know your net worth? Hooray, hooray. See, net worth is something, and you know what net worth is. You're a group of professionals. Your net worth is actually your assets minus your liabilities gives you your net worth. So your debts. So how much do I have here? How much do I have to still pay? This gives you my net worth. This is a statistic I found really interesting. If you're 35 or under, your net worth is around $76,000. That seemed great to me. Like at 35, 76,000 seems like a good number. Interestingly, 35 to 44, your net worth is 436,000.
Oh.
Why does it jump up so much? A home, 100%. See, he wants to be on. He already said he wants to be on the video, so it's very clear. He's going to. Your first name is?
My name is Nick.
Nick's going to be on the video because he wants to be. He said he's going to answer questions and be on the video. It's going to be fine. So you buy a house. The average age of someone that buys a house is 31 years old. So your net worth really changes. Why is that important? Why is it important? Wealth. We're talking pathway to prosperity. How are we doing it? We have to get more assets for you. You know, better jobs are going to give you more money, but you have to build an asset base, and real estate is what we're here to talk about today. So as I was researching all this and enjoying it as I was researching it, I started thinking about, what do people think is rich? What do you think? What do you think?
So I think the term is subjective because it costs different amounts to live in various parts of the country. I think a lot of it is where you live, but to me, rich is having financial freedom to buy literally anything you want.
Okay, so what number would that be?
That's the part I'm not sure of. It's different for all of us.
What number would it be?
I think a lot of people think like 6 figures, 100,000 is like considered
It's like rich.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
Net worth? What do you think?
I was thinking
Rich, I would say $1 million.
I was going to say million.
$1 million? What are you saying?
$1 million.
$1 million, okay. You think it's $1 million. It's not anymore. What do you think? 5 million, your net worth is getting much easier to live when you're talking about how to live and make it easy when you get to 5 million. So there are 22 million millionaires in the United States. Now that means that they have 1 million or above. So that takes in your billionaires, that takes in everything. That's about 8.8% of the population. Not bad. So you think you want to be a millionaire. So they researched what people think about net worth that's a lot of money. So people think that you are financially okay, your net worth is okay, if you have $776,000.
What age?
They don't have an age. They just say, at any age, truthfully, they think 776,000 is a good number. But they feel like you're wealthy if you have $2.2 million in asset space. It sounds like a ridiculous number, doesn't it? But it's not really. That's what you're here to talk about today, is how to build those assets through real estate. So as I was doing this, I kept delving further and further because I go down a big rabbit hole. I love the statistics behind it. So as I was going down this rabbit hole and looking at people that are millionaires, I said, okay, so how much of their actual net worth is real estate? That's what's important. How much of it are they using? What are they doing to get their net worth up? So across the board, people that had 1 million, people that had 1 billion. I looked up Jeff Bezos, and Jeff Bezos is the same as all of the rest of the people that I looked up, is about 40%. Their net worth is 40% in real estate. So that means their house, their investments, most millionaires only have one home. Now, they might have invested and used their second homes as investment properties, but they really have one main home. So 40% is real estate. So what's that mean? What's that mean to all of us? Why real estate? Why real estate? Number one, it appreciates consistently over the years. Real estate appreciates. It doesn't matter. It's going to appreciate. It's a tax write-off. It gives you a tax incentive. So again, a second great reason to invest in real estate. What's the third? It can provide passive income. We're going to talk differently. I have a whole card here on passive income. So we're going to talk about passive income. But passive income is something to think about at your age when you're buying real estate. It can be used to leverage. The real estate can be used to leverage for equity for something else. And finally, real estate gives you a modicum of control of an investment. You're buying it, you're picking it, you're fixing it up, you're dealing with it. You have a little bit of control of it. So I'm often asked, is it worth it to buy? 100% it's worth it to buy. Do you know why it's worth it to buy? How many renters do we have in here? The homeowners have 40% more net worth, 40 times as much net worth as renters. Buying is important. Okay, so how many of you own a home then? Let me see, hands. Okay, when you bought the home, did you have a wish list? Other than the price, other than what was affordable to you, did you have a wish list of things you wanted? Will anybody share what their wish list, 1 or 2 items on their wish list?
Well, mine just had to be a 2-family.
2-family, okay.
Historic charm.
Historic charm.
Location.
Location.
Gotta have a driveway.
Driveway. Some people had to have a backyard. Some people had to have a 2-car garage. All those wish list things. Did anybody on their list of things they had to have in their house put that it's a fabulous value proposition?
I was trying to find something I thought would appreciate.
You did, because it's a 2-unit. It's a multi-unit. Value proposition. Everybody buys emotionally. Trust me, I'm with buyers and sellers. I love it. I have to have it. The kitchen is my dream. This is going to be. What's the value of the property you're buying? Like Warren Buffett said, everyone knows the price, no one knows the value. You need to know the value of what you're buying, particularly at this age. So you bought it, it's your house now. It's still going to create, wealth for you and equity. But I want you to think about leveraging and what you can do on the next house. If you haven't bought, I want you to think about ways that you can buy that are going to help you. It's very hard for me when I'm out with buyers, when I'm trying to explain things. I'll use my child as an example. He didn't really have much of a choice of what he was going to buy. I basically said, this is what you're buying. This is why you're buying it, because I wanted him to buy a townhouse. I wanted him to buy a townhouse because I like the fact that it's a neighborhood in that townhouse that he can rent. So he can keep that townhouse, buy his house, pull the equity out of it, do the things you need to do. So basically, he didn't have any choices when he was purchasing that house. So for me, as a realtor, I'm always trying to get my customers to understand this. Also, he bought a house that needed work. Who wants to do that? Who wants to work on a house? You want to go into a house and have it be good, have it be in great condition with a better kitchen. But sweat equity is what you want. You don't want the best house in the neighborhood. You want the best neighborhood.
Yeah.
So that's what you want to think about. So if you're in the middle of all this, you have to think about, the wish list of Zillow and the value proposition. So you have to try to take the emotion out of it. How many people were on a roller coaster when they were buying their house of emotions?
It's very stressful.
It's very stressful. It's a lot of feelings and it's your finances. Am I making the right decision? I did a video today with John. We talked about, questions you can't ask your realtor. There's a whole bunch of questions that I can't answer. So you need to do the research yourself. There's a whole bunch of things that are fair housing violations for me to answer. How good is this neighborhood? Well, good. My answer is good. Look it up online, drive around, go to the stores, Do people like me live in this neighborhood? I can't answer that. That's not something that I can answer. That's a violation for me with a huge fine. What's the crime in this neighborhood? I can't answer that. You can go online and look, how are the school districts? What do you like about it? I can't have an opinion. I can lead you to the information and tell you to look online, what's the school district like, but your real estate agent can't do that for you, or she shouldn't. If she is doing it for you, she's violating fair housing. It's not correct. The second thing John and I videoed today was disclosure. Do you know what disclosures are when you buy a house? Yes. How many people read the disclosure? Like a book. You should read it like a book. But you know what people ask me? Did someone die in this house? Maybe it's an estate. They want to know if someone died. It's really not something that I can share or talk about. Did someone commit suicide in this house? Was there a murder-suicide? Yes, I have sold a house that had a murder-suicide in the living room. Now, we disclosed it because when you move into that house, the neighbors are going to tell you anyway.
Yeah.
And my favorite story, I'm going to tell it in this group. I know that people here don't like me to tell this story. Neighbors. You can't really ask about neighbors. And this is Pittsburgh, and we have Anthracon here. So I sold a house in Pittsburgh, and it was an older couple. Sweet, sweet, sweet older couple. And they said, Lou, we have to ask you a question. We have something we need to disclose, and we're not sure where to put it on the disclosure. I said, what is it? They said, the person who lives next door, who will remain nameless because some people from Pittsburgh might know him, likes to dress up as a dog. And he likes to take himself for a walk. He likes to go up and down the street. He walks himself, and I said, well, okay, I don't, is he bothering you? They go, oh, no, we love him. He's the sweetest person in the world. We just didn't know if we had to disclose. That's the guy. So they said, sometimes we're in the yard, he'll come into the backyard and we'll be talking and he'll be in his dog costume, which is fine. My concern was, does he defecate in the backyard? That was, they said, we don't have to worry about that. That doesn't happen. I said, okay. But he'll come out and talk to us oh my God, the daffodils came up. They look beautiful. In the middle of it, I'll say, I love your woof woof daffodils. They look great. He said, so there's interspersed barking. So we need to find out. And they said, and he likes to have a really big party during Anthrocon. And there's a lot of furries here. I said, is it loud? They said, no. I said, okay. Do I have to disclose that? No, you don't have to disclose that. But, everyone in the neighborhood knows him because he takes himself on the walks. So disclosure is important. You need to read disclosures, understand disclosures when you're buying a house. And so you buy a house and the disclosure comes back and you don't know something about the house. They didn't disclose it. You don't really have anything legally that you can come back and do. Because at that last day when you sign that piece of paper, you're saying we release them from liability of this house when you own it. So, all right, so different kinds of ways. You know what house hacking is? House hacking. Anybody have an idea what house hacking is?
Great.
Yes, house hacking.
Yeah, I bought a house and flipped it, essentially lived in it. And kept it for a few years and then sold it as a flip.
Did you live in it?
Needed a little bit too.
Did you live in it?
I did, yeah.
Excellent. That's one of the things that's a house hack. You buy it. I have someone in Pittsburgh that buys condos in a building that's older. It's got more of a senior population in it. And he buys a condo there and fixes the condo up, lives in it while he's fixing it up, pulls the equity out of it, rents it, and buys another condo in that building. Fixes it up, buys another. So right now I think he has 7 condos in the building. And
Capital gains, we don't hold on
yes.
6 months.
Yep. Well, he hangs on to it. He lives in it, for a year and a half, fixes it up while he's living there, and continues. And that's how he's growing his real estate asset base, by doing it. So you're not necessarily a flipper because you live in it, which I find much more desirable for people to do, is to actually move in and live in it, fix it up, and then move to the next property. Because I think it's a better way to do it. It's very expensive to become a flipper. It's not something that's an easy task to do. So other ways. I have someone that I just sold a property to. They're an older couple. And they bought a house, a ranch, that has a mother-in-law suite. They went to the municipality lets them rent out the mother-in-law suite. So they're making money, passive income from the mother-in-law suite. People rent out garages. Now Home Depot has a tiny house you can buy for $46,000, and put it, if you have a big piece of property, and rent it out. It might be an investment work, but again, rules and regulations in your municipalities are really important for you to figure out. Trying to think of my other ones. Garages. You said you have a duplex. When you bought it, did it have immediate income for you?
Well, not immediate because it was purposeful. So my father,
Family.
But after he passed,
Now she's got a stream of revenue. Couples that buy this in the start, it's not your dream house to live in a duplex, but you're building your real estate, your pathway to prosperity. You live in half of it, someone actually pays a portion of your mortgage, and that's terrific for your bottom line, and also terrific when you want to leave, because you probably got equity you can pull out of it because you've been paying that mortgage or you've been saving the money. You can pull the equity out of it and you can buy something else and you can rent both of them and it pays for itself. Now, is that your dream, to live in a duplex? No, it's not. It's not like, oh, I can't wait to have Christmas in my duplex. It's not it, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about building wealth through real estate. Does anybody have any questions about that particular thing while we try to overcome the band? Yeah?
Lisa's good.
Interest rates haven't been this high
Oh,
since the mid-90s. So when you're saying real estate's a great investment, loan payments are 2 to 3 times what they were because of the interest rate. Talk about current interest rates. No, not your number. Talk about current interest rates and what it means to be a young professional and what that means from a making that investment in real estate.
Okay, so let's talk about interest rates. How many people think the interest rates are out of this world? They're way too high. It's keeping you from buying. Come on, people. The interest rates, where they are now, we're going to adjust. High interest rates are when you get into double digits. We're not in double digits, and they will fluctuate a little bit. And if they go down, we're not going to see 3% again. We're not going to see 4% again. We're just not. So waiting to buy is just sitting on your money and having it do nothing for you. You don't want to wait to buy. You want to buy when you find it. If the rates come down, refinance. Does that answer your question, George?
It does. Thank you.
When my husband and I, who's in, because you can't hear. When my husband and I bought, the interest rate was 15%.
Oh.
So come on.
But the price.
Yeah, but still, it was relative. It was like talking about Warren Buffett at 31,000 when he bought, in 1958. It's relative, But when you're investing, you're still making money. You're still making money when you're invested. Okay. Finally, I circled back. Are any of you in here interested in becoming a real estate agent? Okay?
Yeah.
All right.
I have a license.
That's good.
I need a real estate agent.
You need a real estate. You don't want to be one.
I don't. Actually, it's a wholesaler.
Okay, so no real estate agent. So it's also a pathway to prosperity. If you get your license, and I'm going to wrap this up. If you have questions about investment groups in Pittsburgh, I have it. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being such a great crowd. I really appreciate it.